Finnish government considers €500 million cuts to business subsidies. Hundreds protest hospital service cuts in Kemi and Savonlinna. Prime Minister Orpo pledges to combat racism after hearing students' experience. Drug-related deaths among Finnish youth surge to alarming levels. The Finnish government is considering budget cuts for next year, and the reduction of business subsidies has become a hot topic. Ilias Eromaja, chief economist of the Finnish Economic Association, has proposed a list of cuts worth €500 million. This list mainly includes subsidies for large companies, aimed at improving competitiveness or supporting regional policies. Major subsidies on Eromaja list include support for the electrification of industry, labor costs in the maritime sector, and fuel for industrial machinery. He argues that these subsidies distort the market and do not hold significant importance for national security. Eromaja also points out that many economists agree with these cuts to avoid wasting national budget and support truly necessary sectors such as research and development of new technologies. On August 31st, hundreds of people gathered at protests in Kemi and Savonlinna to oppose the government's bill to cut health services at local hospitals. In Kemi, the largest protest to date took place outside Länsi-Pohja Central Hospital, attracting a large number of local residents. They opposed the plan to end 24/7 special care services at these hospitals, forcing patients to travel further for treatment. Many participants expressed concern that this would endanger lives and demanded the government maintain local health services. In Savonlinna, around 100 people joined the protest and signed a petition against the plan. The protests were organized in close coordination between the two cities to protect the healthcare rights of local residents. Finnish Prime Minister Petteri Orpo shared about a meeting with university students on the Ykkösaamu program, where he expressed distress upon hearing stories of discrimination. Orpo affirmed that his government is committed to combating racism. He met a student with Finnish and immigrant parents, who shared experiences of discrimination at the university. Orpo emphasized the importance of addressing racism in society and stated that all ministers would receive training in diversity and equality to fulfill this commitment. According to an EVA survey, more than half of Finns believe racism is not a major issue in society, although nearly 90% think it should be prevented. Views on the severity of this issue vary by political stance. Most left-wing party supporters see racism as a serious problem, while only a small proportion of right-wing party supporters agree. In Finland, drug-related deaths, especially among young people, are becoming a severe problem. According to the Institute for Health and Welfare (THL), drug-related deaths have increased significantly over the past 2 decades, alongside rising drug use. In 2022, there were 192 drug overdose deaths, 53 of which involved people under 25. THL expert Sanna Rönke noted that the increasing deaths among young people are worrying, but many cases could be prevented with improved care and drug rehabilitation services. Additionally, there is a need to enhance health education and counseling for drug users. Russia has threatened to block the website of the Finnish bookstore Ruslanija for freely selling books related to the war in Ukraine. Ruslanija is the only bookstore in Finland specializing in Russian-language books, serving the Russian community there. Russia's media watchdog Roskomnadzor has added Ruslanija to the list of banned information, alleging that the bookstore sells books that promote LGBT propaganda, destabilize the Russian state, and spread false information about military operations. Roskomnadzor also complained that Ruslanija did not warn about authors being foreign agents. The bookstore asserts it does not comply with Russian demands and only adheres to Finnish law. Päivi Inberg, the new president of the Super Federation of Nurses and Caregivers, emphasized that low-income female workers deserve higher pay raises than export-dominated male professions. She noted that work pressure is increasing, patients are becoming more complex, and job demands are becoming more stringent. Inberg criticized the Finnish government's plan to reduce the number of nurses per patient, which could severely affect care quality at facilities like Vauhtorakoti in Järvenpää, where she once worked. She argued that this policy would harm the health of nurses and the elderly, as there are not enough staff to ensure quality care. Inberg also highlighted the workforce shortage in healthcare, predicting that nearly 1/3 of nurses will retire by 2033. She affirmed that improving working conditions, raising wages, and investing in employee welfare are necessary to address the current crisis, but the government needs to take stronger measures to attract and retain healthcare workers. Many current meat substitutes can contain high levels of saturated fats and salt, raising health concerns. While many meat substitutes have good nutritional value, some are not recommended by nutrition experts for daily use. Dietitian Vera Hotu advised that when choosing meat substitutes, consumers should pay attention to the levels of saturated fats and salt in the ingredients. Some products use coconut oil or fat, which contain large amounts of saturated fats. Although these products may be healthier than red or processed meat, balanced consumption is important. Hotu recommends that consumers check nutritional information on packaging and choose products with health safety certification labels. Nevertheless, maintaining a balanced diet, including occasional less healthy foods, is necessary for a healthy lifestyle. Vivi Utila and Maya Hilliston had a special experience when a reindeer unexpectedly joined them on a hiking trip in northern Finland. The reindeer, named Pinna by the two, followed them for 20 kilometers from Pyhäkyröstä to Pyhäkuri. The friendly reindeer occasionally walked ahead or beside them throughout the journey. At night, Pinna even slept outside their hut. Utila and Hilliston were surprised and eager to learn about Pinna's story, though they accepted that they might never know the truth about this reindeer. After 60 years of operation, the Monttu bar in Jämsänkoski closed at the end of August due to lack of business. It was a familiar spot for many locals, especially Jukka Salonen, who had been visiting since the 1970s. Salonen was saddened by the closure, as the bar had been a place for people to celebrate payday. Monttu could no longer sustain itself as the number of customers significantly dropped, particularly after the COVID-19 pandemic. Katja Kunuri, one of the two owners, stated that customers had gradually abandoned the habit of going to the bar, opting instead to drink at home. The demise of Monttu is a typical example of the struggles faced by traditional bars in Finland. The loss not only impacts the economy but also creates a social void, as many people lose a familiar place to gather and connect. On Friday evening, heavy rain and thunderstorms caused flooding in several areas in Jyväskylä. Many roads and underpasses were flooded, disrupting traffic, and the Rantaväylä and Hannikainen intersection had to be temporarily closed. Rescue teams were on site to pump water out of buildings and tunnels. In Sastamala, over 10,000 households lost power due to the storm, affecting daily life. By Saturday morning, the number of affected customers had decreased to about 2,000. The weather forecast continued to warn of heavy rain across many areas over the weekend, prompting rescue teams to stay ready for worsening conditions. On Saturday, a severe storm hit eastern Finland, particularly the North Karelia region, with strong winds and heavy rain. In Kitee, strong winds blew away outdoor furniture from a restaurant, causing significant damage. Hundreds of trees were uprooted, crushing cars and obstructing roads. Rescue teams received over 40 emergency calls, mostly to clear fallen trees from streets. Thunderstorms also caused thousands of households to lose power, with nearly 7,000 affected in the Ilomantsi and Lieksa areas. Forecasts indicate that heavy rain will continue, especially on the western coast, with rainfall exceeding 50 millimeters. Experts warn residents to prepare for severe storms, with gusts reaching up to 25 meters per second, which could cause further serious damage.